On today's episode of Globetrotting with Trey, join me as we explore the Levitt Shell, where Elvis made his first concert performance. Stay tuned. July 30th, 1954. Here is an ad in the Memphis newspaper, and it says, in person, the sensational radio recording star Slim Whitman with Billy Walker, Elvis Presley, and many others. Tonight, one big show, 8 p.m. Advance reserve seats today at Walgreens, Main and Union. $1 tonight at Shell, $1.25 reserve kids, 75 cents. General admission, $1. Overton Park Shell. So you can see how famous Elvis was at this point. They misspelled his name. Elvis Presley performed that night at Overton Park. And here's a picture of Elvis backstage there at the Overton Park Shell, before or after his show, not sure. But to get you a little time frame, 25 days earlier, on July the 5th, 1954, Elvis, Scotty, and Bill recorded That's All Right Mama at Memphis Recording Studios. That was 25 days earlier. On July the 19th, 1954, 11 days earlier, That's All Right Mama first premiered on the radio in Memphis. 11 days. And here's a newspaper article that I found. It says, in a spin, Elvis Presley can be forgiven for going round and round in more ways than one these days. A 19-year-old Humes High graduate, he has just signed a recording contract with Sun Record Company of Memphis and already has a disc out that promises to be the biggest hit that Sun has ever pressed. It all started when Elvis dropped into Sun Studios one day to cut a personal record at his own expense. Sam Phillips, president of the company, monitored the session and was so impressed with the unusual quality in the young man's voice that he jotted down his name and address. Well, really, that was Marion Kosker, but more to her later. Sometime later, Phillips came across a ballad which he thought may be right for Presley's voice. They recorded it. It didn't click. But they tried again, this time with Blue Moon of Kentucky, a folk standard backed by That's All Right Mama. Just now, reaching dealers' shelves, the record is getting an amazing number of plays on all Memphis radio stations. The odd thing about it, says Marion Kosker of the Sun office, is that both sides seem to be equally popular on popular, folk, and race record programs. This boy has something that seems to appeal to everybody. Elvis, son of Mr. and Miss Vernon Presley, 462 Alabama, is a truck driver for Crown Electric Company. He has been singing and playing the guitar since he was about 13, just picked it up himself. The home folks who have been hearing him on record so often during the past few weeks can see Elvis in person when he is presented by disc jockey Bob Neal in a hillbilly show at Overton Park Shell Friday night, along with veteran entertainers from the Louisiana Hayride. So imagine Elvis, Scotty, and Bill on this stage there on July the 30th, 1954. This is what Scotty Moore has said about this show. We were all scared to death. Here we come with two little funky instruments and a whole park full of people. And Elvis, instead of just standing flat-footed and tapping his foot, well, he was kind of jiggling. Here's a picture of that audience to kind of get your mind of how the crowd was. And as you see out there, with all that grass used to be the stadium seating. And just imagine right now from Elvis's viewpoint on stage that night, where I'm standing with a camera, imagine that whole area just filled with people. And Elvis, as Scotty would go on to say, is he was just kind of jiggling. That was just his way of tapping his foot. You shook your leg and it made it look like all hell was going under there. So here's the back steps at Overton Park. Elvis would have gone through that door to his dressing room that night. But look at this article I found of Sam Phillips, and it may have taken place on these very steps. Sam Phillips said, when I got there, I had to park a long way away, and when I got there, he was standing on the steps at the back of the shell looking kind of pitiful. Well, maybe pitiful is the wrong word. I knew it was the way he was going to look, unsure. And he just grabbed me and he said, "Man, I'm glad to see you, Mr. Phillips. That was just the way that Elvis talked." He said, "I just didn't know what I was going to do." Well, you know, it's like when somebody's mother is real sick and you tell them everything is going to be all right, and yet you know there's a possibility that his mother might die. I said, look, Elvis, we'll find out whether they like you or not. And then I said, they're going to love you. Now, I didn't know that, and if you want to call me a liar or a fake for saying something that I didn't know to be the truth, but I believe that once he started to sing and they saw him, I don't mean the stage act, once they heard that voice and the beautiful simplicity of what those three musicians were putting down, you see, Elvis had confidence in me. He saw that when I walked up, and I always had some kind of assured look, and yet he knew I was going to throw him to the lions either way. And look at this cool picture of Elvis backstage signing autographs during his performance here at Overton Park. I mean, that's a young Elvis. This is what Elvis said about his performance that night. I came off stage, and my manager told me that they were hollering because I was wiggling my legs. I went back out for an encore, and I did a little more. The more I did, the wilder they went. And this is what Scotty said. During the instrumental parts, he would back off from that mic and be playing and shaking, and the crowd would just go wild. But he thought they were actually making fun of him. Sam Phillips and Bob Neal stood watching from the wings. This was something beyond either of their wildest expectations. As Elvis sang Blue Moon of Kentucky again for his encore, he showed even greater confidence and more untrammeled movement. It was a real eye-opener, said Bob Neal, who had no reason to expect anything whatsoever of this untried, unproven 19-year-old. He just automatically did things right. When they got done cheering for Elvis, they were cheering for Slim. And when Slim Whitman came out on the stage, the star of the show, he said, "Hey, I can understand your reaction, because I was standing backstage and I was enjoying it just as much as you. How are you going to do better than that?" So as the sun goes down here at the Overton Park Shell, here I am standing once again right in the middle of the stage where Elvis would have stood that night, important night in his life, and looked out to the crowd, scared as ever, but becoming Elvis Presley. July 30th, 1954, Elvis Presley was here for the first time ever at the Levitt Shell, Overton Park Shell. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, don't double dribble, subscribe to Globetrotting with Trey. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing, and you stay updated with every new video that I upload, which is every Tuesday, and special ones here and there. Until next time, I'll see you down the road. Thanks for watching.